Hello there. What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be breaking down all the big news from Ministravaganza related to Star Wars X-Wing. We have a lot to talk about today, from new ships, new expansions that are coming, to new rules, and the future of X-Wing. There's a lot to talk about, so we're going to get right into it. If you guys are new here, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment. That's going to automatically enter you to win the $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. Check links down in the description below. We can have links to our Discord as well as other social media. We have some more giveaways going on in Discord right now, and also check out Luxury Playstyle, who's sponsoring this video today. Be sure to go over to luxuryplaystyle.com, check out some of their amazing X-Wing full metal tokens. These are the deluxe tokens for X-Wing. They're double-sided. They come in a variety of finishes. They are heavy. They feel great in your hand. And there's some brand new ones out there, so if you've already got some, go check them out, because there's some new ones and more on the way all the time. Use code Crabbok VIP. You're going to save 15%, and orders of $35 or more are going to get a free lightsaber nunchuck coin thrown in. So let's go ahead and start talking about the big news that came out of Ministravaganza this past weekend. We're going to start off with the Razor Crest. This was one of the ones that we kind of knew was coming. We've known it for a long time, but they did tease this image on social media a couple of days prior, so we knew for sure they were going to be talking about the Razor Crest, and not only talking about it, but they've got one basically painted up and ready to go. So this much is cool, although they probably didn't have a whole lot of spares because they didn't actually paint one. When I was kind of hoping they would have painted one pink or done something kind of crazy like that, but they did paint quite a few X-Wing ships during this course of the stream, but or at least a couple. But not another Razor Crest, which I was kind of looking forward to seeing. But we did get to take a look at the dial, and we also have a ship card in there as well. It's going to be a ship that's going to be able to do a 0-speed stop plus a 5K turnaround. So it's pretty flexible in how it can move, but if to shed stress, it's only going straight with those 1, 2, 3s, and 4s straights that are blue. It does have the Talon roll at speed 2 also, so that's pretty interesting. We also got to look at one of the pilots. Of course, it's going to be the Mandalorian himself. So this whole wave was pretty much made and developed with season 1 in mind, as you can kind of tell through some of the other things that we're going to see. But he is the Mandalorian with the subtext of Din Djarin, and was kind of thinking it might have made more sense for him to be the other way around, Din Djarin with the subtext of the Mandalorian. It's got 3 attack and 2 agility, 7 hull, 2 shields, and Din Djarin comes in at initiative 5. We also are going to be getting some other things from the Mandalorian in this particular expansion. For example, the Child. Now, this is another thing that goes back to him being made before season 2, or at least had to get submitted before season 2, and he is just the Child here. Now, it's interesting to me because he can be an Imperial, Rebel, or Scum, which makes me go back to the first card that we got. Are there going to be also Imperial and Rebel versions of this ship? It is entirely possible, and once you see the other things that are coming, and if you've seen the show, you know that he will kind of work for a variety of causes, whether it's for money or for a righteous cause or whatever his own agenda is. So there's definitely the possibility that he could show up as a Rebel or an Imperial agent at some point in time. So but the Child is going to give you 2 force, and also put the Merciless Pursuit card out there. And this is it's going to be. It seems like it's pretty thematic. It seems like they're definitely going along with that whole line of stuff. Now, in the spirit of Mandalorians, we also had the bounty hunters theme. So if you wanted to play some games this past weekend and then submit your results, there was that hunter basically live event that they had. But that was definitely the theme, because we also have another new ship, also Mandalorian themed, and that's going to be the Gauntlet Fighter. This is going to be a 5-faction ship. It's going to be available for all factions except for, I believe, the sequel factions. But it's going to be a 5-faction ship. Going to be a lot of different versions of this. This is the largest ship they have ever made for a large base. Any bigger, and this would have had to have been a huge ship. So this is massive. Now, we did not actually get to look at the ship model itself. There was some some licensing delays and finalizing of colors and paint jobs and stuff like that. So we don't actually have one of these to look at. These are not going to be ready. This next wave. This is kind of like the first part of that last wave that I believe came over from FFG, and it's and this is going to be, there's still more to this wave. They didn't show us everything, but this stuff is aiming for Q1 of 2022. So this is going to be a fun one because we've got Bo-Katan here, and this is another big ship. 9 hull on this thing, 2 shields, 3 attack in the front. It's got the 2 attack out the rear also. Well, it doesn't get to turn around, at least not easily, right? It reminds me a little bit of the Lambda shuttle with the 2 turns, it's the 0 stop. So it kind of is going to behave a little bit like a shuttle, but we do have lots of different pilot cards, as you can see here. We have Bo-Katan also for the Republic, as well as lots of other pilot options, some generic, some unique. They did also spoil that Maul would be a pilot for this particular ship as well. So it's not all going to be Bo-Katan. And of course, that is in keeping with other announcements and things that came out during Ministravaganza. One of the other things that we learned is there's going to be another Mando-themed expansion that comes out, and that's going to be the Pride of the Mandalorian card pack. And that's going to be coming out too. But before I talk about that, one more thing comes with the Gauntlet Fighter. That's the Mando Super Commandos. This is kind of interesting. I got ahead of myself there. The Super Commandos are actually going to be a device. It uses a double crew slot. You can drop these. They get to fly around and shoot stuff 2 times. They get those charge tokens. So I believe you're getting these for each of the 5 factions as well. So you're going to have a lot of stuff in this box. You're going to have a lot of ship cards, a huge ship, one of the biggest ships you've probably ever seen. I mean, if you thought the Ghost was big or the Millennium Falcon was big or the Decimator was big, this one's going to be even bigger. And of course, that means a lot of dials. You're gonna have a lot of cardboard here too, with the new devices. So, which these guys are gonna basically be a device that uses 2 crew slots. So that's gonna be fun. We have this Mando card pack, and the card pack is gonna be interesting because it's a bunch of, it's nice to see more card packs also in the works. I think that's something that AMG is definitely gonna keep doing, especially if you look at their attitude towards this game and their other games. Like they're doing a whole card pack of errata and a whole card pack for Marvel Crisis Protocol also, as well as making it free downloads. So so I'm sure that more card packs are in the future, but this is going to be cool because this is going to be all new pilots for existing ships, a lot of new Mandalorian specific themed stuff. Of course, they led with a Fang fighter, so or does this mean that there's an interdictor confirmed for X-Wing, right? But no, we've got an ISB Jingoist, and you're thinking, well, what does this have to do with Mandalore? Well, looks like Mandalore. I think they're in the background, so I think that's kind of the idea. So not everything in here is specifically Mandalorian, but a lot of it definitely is. We've got Fen Rao for the Rebels. Still has Concordia face-off, but a new pilot ability. Dude, Fen Rao is Initiative 6 for the Rebels. I want to talk about this art on this particular card because this may be one of the best pieces of art I think we've ever seen, and at least maybe in X-Wing, maybe in any of the Star Wars miniatures games, because it's not. I've talked about art in a lot of my videos. We get a lot of card previews and stuff. I'll point out because a lot of the art is just absolutely home run art, but this one really kind of stands head and shoulders above. Like this one's. Every time I look at it, it captures so much of like, you are going to die. This guy is going to kill you. You don't even bother surrendering. Just make your peace. make peace with your gods when you're about to meet them. Like this is it's the motion blur and the lighting effects, the solar coronas that are in there. This is just a magnificent art piece. So I want that like on my wall right there for sure. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know who is that, a Darren Tan or who did this piece, but I gotta find out. Because that's a really, really nice, one of the best pieces I think they've ever done. So that all this stuff is coming. They're aiming for Q1 2022. Now shipping is absolutely crazy right now, so who knows if they're gonna make that or not. And then the rest of this wave, and this all was supposedly the first half of the final kind of wave that was handed over when AMG took over from FFG. And so we're starting to see a lot of transition stuff where like FFG did some, and AMG kind of either finished the rest or just kind of saw it through. And the same thing is sort of happening with Legion as well. And so you kind of get the feeling that, yeah, I get that they were really, like, they had a lot on their plate, and it makes sense that, like, they said, hey, we're going to put Armada on hold right now while we kind of get things scheduled, because you kind of got a view into everything that's going on, especially with delays and shipping right now. It's the rising costs of everything. It's absolutely insane. But they're definitely looking forward to the future of X-Wing, because there's also some core game rules. So we're going to talk about some of the big changes to the core game of X-Wing. Maybe one of the biggest changes is there's no more bids. No more bids, nor bidding for first player. Basically, if you don't use your points, that's on you. It's actually can help your opponent because they can get those points. So, they're going to basically, what it looks like right now, what they've said is you're going to be randomly determining who is the first player, or who has initiative, I should say, and then that will stay with them the whole game. So one game you might have initiative, another game you might not. So that's obviously going to be a big change to a lot of the way a lot of people play their competitive games, and it's going to probably mean you won't be able to kind of guarantee first player anymore. But maybe there'll be some good stuff. I know a lot of people are split down the middle and how they have different opinions on that. I know that does kind of constitute a big change. And I imagine that will take some time to get used to. Another thing is they're getting rid of support for the squad builder on their website. They're not going to support that anymore. They will still have PDFs with updated points and the lists like that. However, they're not going to be supporting the squad builder anymore. And to me, that's not a big deal, because I always used yet another squad builder anyway. I don't really use their official squad builder. I haven't in a long time. Ever since when huge ships came out and they weren't supported on there, I immediately said, all right, I'm not using this ever again. So I think that's good business sense. If the community is already doing something for free for you, don't also pay a team to do the same thing. And because if the community is doing it for free, the community is also doing it better. So there's still going to be squad builders, just not the official squad builder. But they'll still have points lists updated. They're looking to have the points aren't updated yet though. So those you're gonna have to wait possibly by the end of the month. But then again, we'll get them when we get them. Basically, they're also looking at a banned and restricted list. This one I'm confused. They kept talking about wanting to have a banned and restricted list just to be able to ban stuff or restrict things, but that's kind of what the points list already does, because it's got a hyperspace legal column. Is this legal in hyperspace? Yes or no, which means if it's not, then it's banned, at least in hyperspace. And then there's also the extended column, because there's certain things that aren't legal in extended. So it's unclear to me if they, by a ban list, they just want to make more things potentially not legal in extended, or if they're actually looking at adding a whole nother list, because that seems like that's a whole lot more work to update the points, the hyperspace legal column, the extended legal column, and then add an extra column for your ban, like when the same document already did all of that. So to me, and this is a little speculation, but it seems like they might be at some point moving away from updating those points lists, or at least handling them the same way. They may be just trying to convert everything to some new format. But a lot of that whole news dump with a lot of that sounds like a lot of it's still kind of up in the air. So, because to me, a banned list doesn't make sense when you already have a banned list, a ban and restricted list in your points document for hyperspace and extended, because those are the two formats, right? Extended is basically everything, and that is tournament legal, and then hyperspace is that more restricted format that's also tournament legal, but for hyperspace tournaments. I mean, there's the other format that's just open, but that's not really a format. That's just you do whatever you want. If I want to put if I want to put my headphones on the table and pretend that they're the Death Star, I can do that because it's open, right? That's kitchen table play. So there's no reason to ban anything for kitchen table play, because I'm not going to do what you want anyway. I'm going to put my headphones on the table if I want to. So to me, the only formats are extended in hyperspace, really, unless somebody makes a custom format. So what are you going to ban them in? There's still questions, but I'm going to move on from that. They're now looking at a 12-round limit for games, but this is not a tournament ruling. This is more for like a I'm going to call it a suggestion because they said it's only for like kitchen table games, only for casual games. I'm like, well, if it's a casual game, you can't tell me how long I can and cannot play, but so that's why I think it's a good suggestion. So maybe if you're sitting down with somebody else, like, hey, you want to play? Okay, do you want to play a 15 round limit or a 12 round limit or a 9 round limit? They mentioned like long, medium, and short games. I just don't think the 12 round limit thing is going to stick. It's probably a good idea for like sometimes if games go really, really long. But since it's not going to be the tournament standard, I mean, most times I think a lot of people like to play like at least tournament practice. So but for your home games, by all means, institute a 12-round limit and see how if that impacts things, because there are chances where the dice everybody just rolls blanks all day long, and you could certainly could do that. But if you put a 12-round limit on there, it could be you could take more time trying to. Like, oh, I've only got 3 rounds left. Hold on, let me really, really think about this. You could, so yeah, that could slow the game down potentially even more. But I don't know. It's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I like it as a suggestion though, but I guess we'll have to see. They talked about wanting to move more towards objective-based play in the future. They like their scenarios, and we're going to talk about some of those that they came up with in a little bit. But they made it sound like they were even interested in looking more towards scenario-based or objective-based play for competitive formats. And that sounded a little iffy to me. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see. They didn't really go too deep into that line of discussion, but my kind of takeaway was like, wait, are you looking at adding like because that's what Legion and Armada do, and also Marvel Crisis Protocol, whereas X-Wing is just a death match, and they didn't seem like they really liked the idea of a death match as much. They wanted different things to do. I hope they kind of keep that as like scenarios and just because the scenarios are fine, if you want to play that, or if you want to play the actual core game, which is that that dogfight. Because that's what the game is. It's about a dogfight. There's already some scenarios out there, so that'll be interesting. They are also looking to prioritize more of the 1.0 ships coming into 2.0. This is a big deal. All these people that would love to get a gunboat or something like that. Hopefully, you'll be able to do that. Hopefully, they'll get those some of those other ships printed from 1.0 into 2.0. They're also working on a campaign system. Probably not too much unlike Heroes of the Aturi Cluster. They're working on a campaign system that is likely going to use some of the lessons learned from, if you remember, a long time ago back at FFG, they started doing the public AI alpha, and then, of course, you did see some AI hints come out in the Trident or the Squid ship. So a lot of those AI system things kind of fed into the eventual campaign system that may likely be coming out. That's a little bit of speculation on my part, but the writing was on the wall for a campaign system already, and I believe there was already some work done at FFG towards a campaign system. So it'll be, I'm not sure if they're throwing all of that out and starting over, or if they're leveraging any of that. So that might be like a half and half thing, or it might be 100% of an AMG thing. We'll have to wait and see. But either way, a campaign system is also in the works. Let's talk organized play for a little bit. There's not going to be a Worlds. They announced that at least for a while. They're not going to have any big World stuff. They will still honor those Worlds invites if you had a Worlds invite, but with COVID being what it is, this is for all the games. They're not doing a Worlds this year. Maybe they'll look at setting something up next year, in maybe the second half of next year. So it's going to be a while, but they're still looking at doing tournament support, store level stuff. They're going to have an Adepticon presence for all of their games. So there'll be competitive events and also narrative or fun events at Adepticon. So that's a good thing. They're still looking at doing both casual and competitive stuff. There's a list they have coming out that's going to be basically like Rocket League, that is going to have like droids, and you're trying to fly around and bop them across the board, and kind of this is something that AMG is kind of working on. That is all AMG's design, and they really manufactured that, or they really made it a point to talk about that. This is a 100% AMG thing, and it seems like it is this, basically, they didn't say Rocket League. It's called These Are the Droids You're Looking For. And so instead of hitting a ball, you're trying to hit a gonk droid or something like that, or you got C-3PO flowing around, you're just crashing into him or blasting him with proton torpedoes, trying to knock him into the goal or something to that effect. So that one looks fun. And Aces High. when they first mentioned Aces High, it was almost as if they like it was their own invention, and like but I think they just missed. That was just the way I heard it. But and this is a misprint, by the way. The ETA 2 is not a 2 bullseye and 3 front arc. It's vice versa. But hopefully there's time for them to correct this. I know a lot of people were talking about this when they showed it. I'm like, wait, so bullseye is worse? And wouldn't that be interesting too if you had that? But no, basically Aces High is a really fun format where everybody just gets one ship and it's a big free for all. 4 or more players. You all play and it's a real fun event, and that's a great way to have some organized play. They're looking at kind of doing a lot more of that. And they want to have these. FFG had originally kind of come out with these really nice, and these are on the long tarot card formats. It's kind of funny that Armada lost their tarot card format with the new ship cards, but then X-Wing kind of gained them, so they stole all the extra Armada card stock and then threw X-Wing stuff on there. But these are great because they actually have all the text printed on them, and this is kind of what I wish that Quick Builds would have been all along. But they kind of elaborated a little bit on Aces High that they moving into the future of X-Wing, they want to do more with Quick Builds. They talked about wanting to do Quick Builds not just for for some ships, but for like almost every ship, and to have full squadrons even as Quick Builds. Which is really interesting because like kind of moving into the future, this is like one of their future designs. Is I think that they're going to want to do more and more Quick Builds, which is it's cautious to me because, and this might sound doom and gloom. This is just now we're getting into opinion mode here, but with the emphasis on Quick Builds that they have, and it's sounding like maybe they won't. If they're doing a ban list, does that mean they're not updating the points document anymore? I could put those two guesses together and be like, wait, are you going to try and do Quick Builds only, right? And I don't, again, let me know if you think that that's crazy or not. I wonder if they're thinking about doing something like that and they're trying to like, here, let's run this by them so we can normalize it. Because if they do Quick Builds only and take away list building, I don't think they'll do that because that's kind of crazy. But an emphasis on Quick Builds is great as long as it's an option, because I know there's days where I would love to play something like this, and then there's other days where we want to actually build something specific. So I think having both options is a really cool idea. I just hope they don't take it too far. And it's been a rough time lately with not knowing what to expect, and like, are they going to turn it into Marvel Crisis Protocol? And if they did, that would be kind of Star Wars Crisis or X-Wing Crisis Protocol, right? If they did that. But again, that's just a little bit of fear and doom and gloom. But overall, all of the stuff that they laid out was very long-term thinking. So they obviously have a very long plan for X-Wing. And then more future stuff. They teased this little piece of art. So the TIE Outlander is definitely coming. I don't know if this is also part of the same wave that's coming. Maybe this thing wasn't ready yet, but this is also coming. So and I'm assuming we'll have moving wings. This was probably a really interesting engineering problem to try to get this thing worked out. But yeah, so this is pretty cool. So a lot of Mando-based stuff is coming. And we're gonna have a big, long, bright future for X-Wing. Even though there was really only the one big panel, there was still a lot of there was still other talks of X-Wing. Heck, they even talked about Armada a little bit. But this was basically all the information from Ministravaganza. And as more comes out, we'll keep you updated. So 2022, I'm going to be getting some more X-Wing ships, and I guess that's just about it. All right, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. We'll talk to you guys later. And make sure, if you're practicing karate in the dark, that you're by yourself. And otherwise, you guys are going to be knocking the heck out of each other. And on second thought, just don't practice karate in the dark. Light a candle or something, but don't knock the candle down and burn your house down. Oh, my goodness. Just be safe. Be safe, everyone.